Yeah? Listen, there are three things I know that happened yesterday. One, Jey Uso, yay, he won the Royal Rumble. Two, Adesanya gets knocked out again. And three, this is not a knockdown. In the morning after. Block! Block! Listen, man, last night was amazing. The PBC put on a fantastic card. Everything was lit from Kerel Molton on. I want to say we're now right above 200,000 views on that live stream commentary, Benavidez versus Morrell. I want to give a shout out to the guru, MMA guru. Exciting the raid to send all the MMA Guru fans over to my channel to watch the live stream commentary. I greatly appreciate that. And that's the Black Joseph Parker. Okay, listen, man. Last night, you saw David Benavidez, quote unquote, get knocked down, and we saw that live last night. Check out how I called it and how we nailed it in the war room. That wasn't a knockdown. That wasn't a knockdown. They said it was a knockdown. It wasn't a knockdown. It was kind of like a push. Good job. They called it a knockdown. Dave Morrell knocked down Benavidez, but it wasn't. But it was good footwork because Benavidez ain't hurt. That was not a knockdown. Okay, a knockdown by the rules is officially when a fighter's body part touches the canvas, anything outside of his feet. Okay, so if anything touched the canvas outside of his feet following a landed punch. In this case, David Benavidez had his arm up. It wasn't a punch, it was more of a push, and David Benavidez tripped over his feet. So that was not a connected punch where, you know, if a body part of David Benavidez touched the canvas outside of his feet. That's not what happened. It was more of a push and a trip together. It should have been ruled not a knockdown. So, you know, afterwards, this happened. And that, you know, that just caused a lot of confusion because you see the punch after the bell from Morrell, but it followed a flurry that landed on Morrell from Benavidez that was also after the bell. And you can look at it many ways, okay? David Benavidez did it, you know, he did it first, and then you have Morrell, he's retaliating, and then, you know, the ref catch the person who's retaliating. Or David Benavidez was throwing his hands and he couldn't really hear the bell, which is why a lot of times the ref jumps in between, uses his body as a shield to kind of block the fighters, and that is an indicator that the round is over, right? Because a lot of times you could just be in a mix and you could be throwing your hands, which I think was the case. And Morrell punched around the ref to get retaliation. And a lot of times that's just a big no-no to refs. Could put the ref in danger, and he sees that as huge disrespect. But to hit him with a point deduction and not a hard warning, I think was a little over the top. But I think it, all in all, was probably the best call because he failed on the knockdown. So really, the point deduction kind of erased the knockdown. He did his very best to right the wrong, I think. So, you know, it didn't really matter so much as far as the scoring and the output of the fight. David Benavidez was definitely the better fighter in the ring. But I do want it to be understood that Morrell didn't knock down David Benavidez. That's something that people are going to have to understand moving forward. Did Morrell hurt David Benavidez? No. He never, you know, knocked him down. Now, he hurt him earlier in that fight with a short right hand that was beautiful. He rocked him there, in my opinion. Now, David Benavidez said he didn't, but of course. But I think the ref had a very bad round. What was that, the 11th round? I think he had a very, very bad round. And who echoes that is Morrell's promoter, who has huge beef with the team Benavidez, Bricktop from Snatch.
He was hitting Morrell with a lot of low blows. He never called no low blows either, you know. So that's what's going on. All right, next one, okay.
Y'all can't tell me bro don't look like Bricktop from Snatch.
All right, next one, okay.
Hence the expression, as greedy as a pig.
No, hey, they are the same person. They are exactly the same person. All right, so let me break down this fight a bit. David Benavidez versus Morrell. It went about how I expected it. Okay, I knew it was a highly contested or highly expected fight, anticipated fight rather. It was a highly anticipated fight. A lot of fans wanted the fight, and when you look at the matchup, I knew that Morrell wasn't experienced enough, and he isn't a slick Cuban fighter. He never showed crazy skill, and last night it showed up. He's just a physical guy. He didn't have any special effects. He was just throwing punches at the guard. He didn't enter with high IQ. He didn't leave with high IQ. He didn't do any pivoting and footwork with high IQ. I mean, he wouldn't, right? When you think of Dave Morrell, he's a physical athlete, brute, tall guy, great chin. You saw that last night. Big puncher, right? But when it comes to boxing, there's levels. And David Benavidez, he showed the defense, he showed slickness, he showed combinations, great punch selection, a very good jab, nice way to go to the body and go back upstairs, pull it down the guard, hit him around. I mean, he was just schooling him. And he just really whitewashed him. He schooled him, and he did what he's supposed to. The thing that I need people to take from this is when to have certain fighters fight others, right? So you got the Floyd Schofield fight against Shakur Stevenson. It may be something similar to that, right? Floyd Schofield seemed to be a little wet behind the ears, but again, he feels that he can win, and we'll see. But Shakur Stevenson he got levels, and Floyd Schofield is a very physical guy. A lot of times that's just not enough. Now, Floyd Schofield may just beat Shakur. He may win, but I'm just saying the practical, like I was telling you guys, my practical breakdown is that the more experienced fighter who have shown more of those levels against higher opposition should be the one you kind of favor going into the fight, right? When you break down the fight. And David Benavidez was definitely that, all right, or is definitely that. Now, what is he, 30-0 or something like that? He got Morrell under his belt, okay? And the thing is, it kind of reminds me of Floyd and Canelo a little bit. You know how when Floyd said Canelo's, he's a good fighter. He's a good fighter. But he just said he was just a little too inexperienced, a little too young for him. Right? I mean, it's the same kind of thing. I mean, we've seen that time and time. Somebody brought up Vargas and Trinidad. I think I did actually at one time, but somebody echoed that. They said it again last night. Felix Trinidad Vargas. Vargas kind of did that with Oscar De La Hoya. They moved him around. They moved him too fast. But then you had situations like when Leon Spinks beat Muhammad Ali. So there are moments when that can happen. All right, but it wasn't the case. More likely than not, the more experienced fighter is going to separate himself, okay? Now, let's talk about a few other fights here. No, let's talk about this first. His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh, Ring Magazine reposted what he said about him wanting the winner between Morrell and Benavidez to fight the winner between Benavidez and Pitbull. That's music to our ears, okay? So for the undisputed fight rematch with Pitbull and Benavidez, they will have to fight their mandatory, which is David Benavidez. And that's great, all right? Because we haven't really seen David Benavidez, as a mandatory. Canelo Alvarez has been the champ. David Benavidez has been the mandatory, and that has not been enough up until this point to get him a fight with the champion. And I think His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh is going to satisfy that. He also said that he's going to invite the winner of David Benavidez and Morrell out there to watch on February 22nd, Benavidez and Pitbull. And doing something like that, he can get Benavidez, who won the fight, in the ring to call out the winner. You saw that happen with Dubois and Usyk after the Usyk-Tyson Fury fight. So we got a lot to be excited about here. And you guys can jump in the comments and say who y'all think would win if Benavidez beat Pitbull. The winner between them two versus Benavidez. After what you saw last night, I think Benavidez looked fantastic. I really do. And I think Morrell looked good. And I think Morrell is going to learn. He's going to get that much better. I feel sorry for whoever meets Morrell after this fight because he's just going to be that much better. Now, let's move on. A few things. Forton versus Figueroa. Forton schooled Figueroa. All right? I did not expect that. I really didn't. I was leaning towards Figueroa, possibly by knockout, because Forton has been on the downslide. That guy rallied back. I don't know if it's the Eagles being in the Super Bowl, whatever it is. Philly is on a roll. Well, when it comes to sports, they're on a roll right now. Forton was outboxing him when Figueroa tried to fight from a distance, which I think was a good attempt, especially at the beginning. I thought that was the right thing to do. But then when Figueroa started trying to maul Forton, Forton was finding pockets and was doing high IQ shit. He was being the cool boy Steph that we know him to be, while Figueroa was just being basic and mauling, which was bruising and beating up Forton a bit. And I don't think it was the punches. I think it was like the head and the shoulders and stuff. He was mauling him. But Forton was able to find distance with no space. He was able to find real estate with no space. You know, he's bam, and he was able to throw explosive shots in these little, like he was Joe Louis, like he was Archie Moore or something. Figueroa was putting all that pressure in, and he just finding little spots to take a half step back, and he just really schooled him. Forton by landslide. A lot of people thought that fight was boring. I was very impressed by those things of Forton, and I'm feeling better about him now. He just had a tough spot. He fighting Figueroa, he was the first time he was burnt out. Of course, he was weight drained, and then he had to stay there versus Inoue. He went through 2 training camps. Don't forget, Inoue was injured, and then Forton had to stop his training camp and do it again, and he fought in Japan also. So he got knocked out against one of the greatest fighters in the world right now, if not the greatest fighter in the world, and Inoue knocked him out. You know what I mean? So then he comes back and he steps up from super bantamweight to featherweight, and he gets dropped. So you're just thinking like, I think he may be done or something, but he won the fight. But for him to come all the way back, put a game plan together and look that good, you can't help but to feel great about Cool Boy right now. Now let's move over to the fight of the night. Maybe, it's contender for fight of the year already. And that's Pitbull versus Ferrero. That fight was lit. And check out how I was calling that shit last night. For Lebanon Hills, you can't be under the Lollipop Guild. Oh, good right hand from Pit. Oh, shit. Oh, Pitbull got rocked. Pitbull got rocked. Pitbull hurt. There you go, Ferrero. Hang in there. Hang in there. Pitbull hurt. Pitbull's hurt. That's how Pitbull act when he's hurt. I never see that chin crack. Ferrero, go get him. Ferrero, go get him. I never see that chin crack. He cracked his chin. Ferrero. Yay, swing, Ferrero. Swing. He's a man. He's a man. Oh, damn. Big left from Pitbull. Ferrero said, bring your ass. Yeah. Good right hand, Ferrero. Oh, shit. This shit wagging and banging. They wagging and banging. They wagging and banging. That fight was hell on earth. Sometimes, and that's why I like the contrast. You look at hell on earth, and then you see Cool Boy doing some high IQ shit, and then you see the combination of both, really, with David Benavidez versus Morrell. Really, last night, the PBC put out the type of card where you could pick your poison of what you like. You saw a slugfest, you saw a high IQ fight, right, against a more barbaric fighter, and then you saw a great athlete in Morrell versus Benavidez, who kind of did both. He was boxing and he was walking Morrell down. Beautiful shit. Pitbull versus Ferrero was absolutely violent, which is gorgeous, by the way. That was beautiful. Now, let me end by talking about Kerel Molton. Bruh, how I felt about Kerel Molton in the prelims, all right? This is how I feel about the kid. This kid here can be something special.
You ready? Wait. You gotta show me something, Fred. You gotta show me something.
I mean, we knew that, but damn. Because I like how violent he is, man. I like how he approaches the game. And he definitely showed some good craftsmanship last night. How he was creating space and shit. He fought a guy who beat Andy Cruz in amateurs, by the way. Andy Cruz, all right? And he stopped him in the 3rd round. He knows when to be slick. He knows when to be defensive, and he knows when to whoop your ass. That reminds me very much of Terrence Bud Crawford. Terrence Bud Crawford is like that. Terrence knows when to box, knows when to be slick, knows when to kind of be athletic, and then he knows when to whoop your ass. He knows when to start slugging. That's a boxer puncher. Those are my favorite fighters. Sugar Ray Robinson was the epitome of that. Salvador Sanchez, the same way. When you are capable of doing that, you are hard to beat. Another thing, Kerel Molton may end up doing what I've been begging from Gervonta Tank Davis, which Gervonta, I think he's putting his foot down. And he's like, he's going to manage his own career. And, he's calling, like Steven Espinoza saying, listen, he wants nothing less from nothing less than a Shakur fight or Ryan Garcia fight or something like that, or those high level fights. Sounds beautiful from Tank. Kerel Molton is 5'4". Tank's 5'5". Kerel Molton is 5'4", and he's swatting at 135. This kid, I know he's going to move up. I know he's going to fight at 140. I know he's going to. This kid, I'm sure he's going to be a violent fighter. He's going to be a slick fighter. He's going to be a very entertaining fighter, and he's going to push the envelope. I think he knows what he doesn't want, and I think he's from the new era, the boxing revolution. Kerel Molton has fought everywhere. He moves around, too. He's not just on the PBC or whatever. He'll move around. Floyd Mayweather is the way he's working with Kerel Molton. Mwah. All right? Now, he's only 18. He's only 18, bro. He's only 18. Think about that. How mature he's fighting. He's not perfect yet. It reminds me of how I felt when I saw Canelo Alvarez at 18. On the undercard of Floyd Mayweather and Shane Mosley. That was the first time I saw him. I said, this guy, though he wasn't perfect, I said his mentality is so mature for such a young kid. Kerel Molton is at 135 with the rest of them. And I bet you he'll be up at 140 once Shakur Stevenson goes there, when Keyshawn Davis is going there. This guy here, Kerel Molton, has the goods. And I'm so excited by Shushu Carrington, Kerel Molton, Abdullah Mason, just the way the future looks. Bam Rodriguez, Moses, all those boys, just how the future look. I'm salivating. I'm so damn excited. It's incredible. And Kerel Molton is one of those guys, man. I thought when I was looking at the way he's built, shorter guy, shorter than Floyd Mayweather, I'm just thinking like, shorter than Tank, right? And I'm looking, he just seems too heavily muscled. And I'm like, I don't know, man. I've seen that in Gary Russell. I'm not saying hate to it. What I'm saying is I just didn't, Gary Russell, the way he's built, it didn't look like he'd be able to move up or anything. But I think Kerel Molton is going to be able to move up. And I think he's heavily muscled in a way like Pitbull is, to where he can't stay there. And he has the abilities and the punching power and the tenacity and the IQ and the maturity for him to be able to take those tools and it translate. I like when little guys do big things, and it really excites me. What Kerel Molton showed yesterday. Yesterday what the PBC put on was extremely incredible. We're going to be calling the Clarissa Shields fight. Make sure you subscribe to DAZN. 30% off. That sale ends today. So everybody, hit the link in the description box below. Make sure you go to DAZN and subscribe so we can all watch the Clarissa Shields fight. I'll be calling that later tonight. ShowBizz, I'm out.